Hello and welcome to day 15 of the Kickstart Your Running in 21 Days project. Today's session is all about filling your emotional tank, which is a really important factor for us because we're obviously very emotional human beings, and emotions play a big part in the decisions we make and how we interact with people, the commitment we make, and everything else that we do in our life. So that's what today's session is going to be all about. And recently I was introduced to the Positive Coaching Alliance, and I really loved what I've been discovering as I've been finding out more about what they do. Their mission is to provide solutions to youth sports' most perplexing problems. So they're coming at it from a perspective of helping youth sport, but I think the things that they've done, the research that they use, and all the amazing things that they've done can be really beneficial for athletes of any age. And so I'm really pleased to be able to share one part of what I've discovered from the Positive Coaching Alliance with you. I've been working my way through one of the Positive Coaching Alliance's books, and it's called Elevate Your Game. It's a really great book, and I'll include in the email that goes with this video a link to the book so you can check that out if you want to do that. Comes highly recommended. It's a great book. And one of the key concepts that they spoke about in the book really spoke to me and made a lot of sense, and so I'd love to share this with you now. The idea behind the concept is that it's so important for us to fill our emotional tank, to keep our emotional tank as full as we can. And we all do better when we do keep our emotional tank full. And just like a car, then a car with a full tank of petrol, a fuel tank of fuel, can go a long way. And we're just exactly the same. If our emotional tank is almost empty, then we're not going to go very far. We're not going to achieve so much. But with a full tank, then we can go a long, long, long way. Often we can be very good at draining our own tank. Or we also surround ourselves with people who actually help to drain our tank. And obviously that's not a great situation to be in. So what drains our emotional tank? Well, one thing is for sure is criticism and sarcasm. Also things like non-verbal actions, so rolling your eyes, frowning, or maybe sighing dramatically. Also ignoring someone when they're speaking to you. And you can also likely think of ways that your emotional tank is drained too. The Positive Coaching Alliance mentions a magic ratio which helps you to keep your tank filled. It takes a lot of filling to keep your tank filled up. However, I bet you're ready to succeed. So the magic ratio is 5-to-1. So for each criticism, we need to have 5 tank fillers to equalize that. So if we're having more than one criticism, then we need to use that 5-to-1 ratio in order to keep our tank filled. And the Positive Coaching Alliance calls it a magic ratio because what they found is that when people hit that ratio, that's when magic happens. Tank fillers can be verbal or non-verbal, extended interactions, or quick hits. And here are some ideas for tank fillers for you that might make sense to you. And the first is, when you're talking to yourself, try using your own name. That very often when we hear our own name, then it's in some context where we've done something wrong, we're in trouble. And I know my mum always used to call me Terence, and it's like, uh-oh, I know something bad's coming. So when we talk to ourselves, then try using your own name, but use it in a positive sense, a helpful, a constructive sense. Greet people in a positive way. And I think this really helps us be grateful and thankful for the people that we do have in our life. And obviously we have, or hopefully we have, many positive, supportive people who are going to be there and ready to fill your emotional tank. Praise yourself. But when you do, then be truthful and specific. So you don't need to be dramatic or over-expressive. Just be truthful and specific. And that will really sink home. And of course, this is exactly the same as you would ask for somebody else talking about you, for praising you in some way. So we need to be respectful of that for yourself as well. Express appreciation, and again, keep it simple and direct. Offer to help. Offering to help somebody else helps us feel positive about ourselves. And then at the same time, that has a win-win situation, because hopefully we're going to be helping the other person and they're going to feel better about themselves too. Non-verbal actions like smiling, clapping, thumbs up, high fives, all of those kind of things. And then physical contact is also important. So a hug is a really good way of filling up your emotional tank. Maybe a kiss with a partner or a loved one. Then physical contact. There's a ton of research that suggests that just simply hugging somebody can break through cold barriers. So for today's activity, you're going to have a chance to fill your emotional tank. I hope you have fun doing this. So in the meantime, as usual, let's start by getting relaxed. So make sure you're in a situation where you know you're not going to be disturbed, your phone ring is turned off, and just settle into a chair or sofa or bed or a space on the floor, and just get ready to get relaxed now. And then once you're comfortable, then we're going to start by taking 3 big deep breaths as usual. And then just let your breathing return to normal. And at the same time, just allow your eyes to gently close. And as you do that, then just notice how your body just sinks into wherever you're sat or laid down. And as you begin to feel your body relax. And then focus on your breathing. So each in-breath is 1, each out-breath is 1. Count up to 10, and then start over again and cycle through that 4 or 5 times. And then I'd like you to think of what are your natural emotional tank fillers. So what do you naturally gravitate towards to help you fill your emotional tank? And then imagine now if you were following the magic ratio of 5 to 1. And if you were doing that, how would that make you feel? So for every criticism you were either saying to yourself or receiving from somebody else, imagine that you had 5 positive emotional tank fillers going to follow up, they're going to come your way. So think of how you would use this magic ratio and how you would use this for your own self-criticism, as we're very often our own worst self-critics. So this is a place where it's really important for you to think about using that magic ratio for you. So 5 to 1, 5 positives to 1 criticism. Then I'd like you to think of an instance recently where, for whatever reason, you were being extremely, really hard on yourself and self-critical. Yeah. And just take a moment or two to think about how that felt, what kind of impact that had on you, and what you did at that time to help turn it around. And how long did that take, and were you feeling down for a while, or what was happening, what was the situation for you? Now I'd like you to replay exactly the same situation, but this time, instead of being really, really self-critical, that for every criticism that you pass on your way, that you have used that magic ratio. So we have 5 positive emotional tank fillers for each criticism. And just imagine what that would have been like, how that would have felt, what a difference that could have made to you and how hard you were being on yourself. Of course, we can only really focus on one thing at one time. So if we're being critical and then we have to switch to being positive, supportive, respectful, all of those things, then it's like using that magic ratio of 5-to-1. By the time we've put in 5 positive things about ourselves, then that critical whatever it was, the real kind of, we can get really passionate about being critical, but I think it's also really important for us to be passionate about being self-supportive and to be good students of respecting ourselves and using that magic ratio and being respectful and keeping our emotional tanks filled rather than draining them. And then think about how different this would be in terms of your interactions with everybody in your life. Yeah, so not just yourself, but also your family, your loved ones, your partner, your husband, your wife, your training partners, all those people that are important to you. And yeah, if you are using the same magic ratio, so when for whatever reason you're being critical of them, then don't just follow up with more criticism, follow up with some things that you really like about them as well. But think about that magic ratio and that 5-to-1. And then bring yourself back to the present. And again, as usual, we're going to take 3 big deep breaths. And then, whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes and take another stretch. Ooh, just ease your body back into wherever you are. So congratulations on completing day 15. Really hoped you enjoyed the magic ratio there and the research and work from the Positive Coaching Alliance. And remember, if you have any notes from today's activity, then write them down as soon as you can, while they're still fresh in your memory. And that's really the best time to get those notes and those things that crop up for you as you work through these sessions. Now is the best time to get them down. So yeah, really trust you're having you had a great weekend, and looking forward to the week ahead. And look out for day 16 coming your way very soon. That's tomorrow again. And keep up the good work. You are awesome.